Hello everyone. So just this weekend we all got to witness an awesome show take place, with guys like Hunter Labrada coming in improved and in the best shape of his life, and Brett Wilkins surprising everyone by coming out of nowhere and placing second and even upsetting Rolly Winkler. Honestly, no one before this show would have predicted Rolly placing any lower than second, so to see him drop all the way down to fifth at the show was a big disappointment. And the Who is the Best Bodybuilder Instagram page made a great post showing the last time Rolly competed at the 2019 Yamamoto Pro versus how he looked at the 2021 Chicago Pro. And because of the picture, you really can't tell how much Rolly has downsized, but if you look at the competitors that are standing next to him, you could really see how much size Rolly lost. In my opinion, Rolly looked like he lost at least a solid 20 pounds of muscle, which was a really bad look for him. What I think happened was Rolly tried to come in peeled and was willing to sacrifice some size and fullness to do so, but combine that with Rolly being 45 and just naturally getting older, and you get a Rolly that looks how he looked back in 2010. I think Dave Palumbo said it best, so I'll just insert the clip where he's talking about Rolly here.
What I think happened with Rolly Winkler was that he wanted to come in so freaky hard for this show because he wanted to show everyone, hey, look, I'm gonna beat Ramy at the Olympia. I could bring the freaky conditioning, and he made a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why he made a mistake. Because this happened to me in my career, and I've seen it happen to other guys. They tell you, look, come in shredded, and you're going to win you're going to win the show, you're going to win the Arnold, you're going to win the Olympia, because that's what we want. We want to see you shredded. But what they don't understand is that, and what maybe the mistake the competitors make and the coaches that help is that sometimes ultra shredded dry, okay, too much so, you can overdo it. And then what happens is you lose the wow factor. Okay.
So without further ado, let's go pose for pose and I'll let you know what I think. And in the front double bicep, surprisingly, Rolly isn't winning it. Since he lost a lot of size, you guys will see that he isn't dominating almost any of the poses as he should be. And he looks to be around the same size as Hunter, which is very unfortunate. Anyways, I have Max winning the pose here. He is by far the best conditioned here, with the best biceps and the least amount of weaknesses, so he has to be winning it. Rolly, while not as conditioned as the others, still has the best arms by far. But Hunter is far more conditioned with the better legs, so who do you go with? Well, it is called the front double bicep after all, and Rolly does have the better arms, so I'm going to have to go with him in second. But if you prefer Hunter, I can see that too, and Brett is a distant fourth. In the front lat spread, if Max was spreading his lats better, he'd definitely be winning it. And if Brett was about 10 to 15 pounds bigger, he'd likewise be dominating this pose. As it is, I think it could go to either guy depending on your personal preferences, but I would have to go with Rolly first, Hunter second, Max third, and Brett in fourth. Rolly is packing the most muscle onto his frame, and even though he isn't perfect in the pose, none of them are, and they all share a number of weaknesses. Brett's being his lack of size, and Max's not being able to spread his lats properly. Hunter, like Rolly, looks decent in the pose, but has no glaring flaws, which is why he has to be second. In the abs and thigh, Rolly wasn't hitting the pose at the same time as the others, so I had to edit in a picture of Rolly hitting the abs and thigh into the picture, even though you can't really tell. And Hunter looks great. He's definitely owning them in the pose, and he has the best abs and quads in this pose, so he has to be first. I would have Rolly in second since he has the better quads than Max and is still maintaining a good midsection. And surprisingly, Brett looks super tiny in this pose, so I would have to have him in fourth here. Overall, this pose is pretty straightforward, with Hunter in first, Rolly second, Max third, and Brett fourth. In the side chest, even this downsized version of Rolly is definitely winning the pose. He has the best side leg by far and still has the best arms and shoulders in the pose. And surprisingly, Brett's upper body looks much bigger than Hunter's, and his side leg is also spectacular, so he's definitely in second. Max has a huge frame here, but his legs are very underwhelming, so he has to be third. As for Hunter, I never really liked the way he hit this pose. His upper body always looked small in the side chest, and he always looked fairly average to me. Here, I think Hunter should pull his arm further back like how Brett's doing it, and then he would maybe be beating Max and Brett in this pose, but as it is, he's not. So let's move on. In the side tricep, Hunter blows him all away. He has no flaws in this pose and he has perfect execution. Hunter easily wins this pose. As for Rolly, being that he has the best triceps and arms of all time, he should be winning the pose, or at least doing better. But he has a horrible execution here, and his abs look non-existent, so he has to be in last in this pose. Brett and Max have similar looking upper bodies here, but Brett's lower body is far superior to Max's, so he beats Max here. This one is a convincing first for Hunter, Brett in second, Max in third, and Rolly in fourth. In the rear lat spread, Rolly makes up some ground here. He has the widest back with the best traps and the most mass, and his lower body doesn't look so bad either in this pose, so Rolly wins the rear lat spread convincingly. I'd have Brett in second since his lats are thicker than Hunter's, and he also has the most diced lower body. And unfortunately for Hunter, his back looks very underwhelming here, so I'd have him in last here, and Max in third. In the back double, I'd have Rolly in first, since he has the best biceps, best tricep sweep, biggest shoulders, and the biggest and thickest back. Hunter has drastically improved this pose also. His back double is actually comparing pretty well next to Rolly's, so he is a close second in this pose. And Brett has great potential here too, but he is just way too small, so he can't be any higher than fourth. I really do like Brett in this pose, but he is being dwarfed by everyone in the call-out, so I have to have him in fourth, and Max is third. Lastly, in the most muscular, I'm very disappointed by this point with Rolly Winkler. He looks super tiny here and looks to be the smallest in this pose. Rolly's most muscular is the reason why I said Rolly looked like he had lost 20 pounds of pure muscle, and if he was even 5% bigger here, he'd be easily winning the pose, easily. But anyways, Max is winning this pose since he's the biggest, driest, fullest, and he for sure wins this. Rolly is still second since he still has some of the best arms here, and his delts are also likewise very impressive. He's just way too small here to be in first. I really like Brett's execution here, and if he was just a little bit bigger, I could actually see him realistically winning this pose. But as it is, I think he has to be in last since he is probably the smallest, and I think I have to have Hunter in third here. Based on my pose for pose analysis, Rolly wins with a score of 16, Max and Hunter tie with a score of 20, and Brett is in last with a score of 26. So if I had Rolly in first, then why was he fifth? Well, when all the competitors first came out, the contest was clearly between Rolly and Hunter for first and second, and Rolly seemed to be in the lead. But the longer and longer the contest went on, the more Rolly faded, and the more Hunter and Brett just got better and better. And by the time the finals rolled around, Rolly was fighting for fourth with Mohammed Shaban and Hassan Mustafa. Overall, I think Rolly deserved to be at least a spot higher, but for the most part the judges got it right. And this video is already getting a bit long, so I think I'm going to have to make a two-parter and have to split the video in two. So I'll make a video talking about the 212 division some other time. So I think that's going to be all for today, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you enjoy the videos that I make, you turn on your post notifications and you make sure that you watch all the videos that I upload. See you guys.